Hey, Red, let's start with the process. Take me through the communication between yourself, the rest of the conference, the coaches and athletic directors in trying to formulate this schedule.
Well, as you can appreciate, this didn't happen overnight. And back in the spring, when everything got shut down, there was a concern whether we would be having any sports in the fall. And of course, you know the story with football. But once football was cleared to play, that opened the door for obviously hockey and basketball to be considered. So once we got a little bit of clarity that we might have a schedule, I met weekly with Kevin Moran, the commissioner of the Big Ten. He met daily with the athletic directors. And so we had an idea, like we talked about, the starting date of our schedule was huge. You saw what happened to the Ivy Leagues when they announced they weren't going to play till January, and Harvard lost 5 players that first week. And I think it was a big step when the Big Ten declared that we would play on the 13th of November. Now, that may not mean everyone plays that weekend, but everyone can play. And with different situations on different campuses in different states, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So our schedule, as we announced, is a 24-game conference schedule, which we had last year. But we had the opportunity to play 10 non-conference games. And this year, of course, we won't be playing a range of non-conference games, but we are going to play Arizona State.
Red, to get to that ideal number of 28 games, we see 4 additional matchups for every team against Arizona State. Such a unique scenario. Talk to me about how that process began.
Greg Powers called me a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and just reaching out, would any of the Big Ten schools consider playing them? And when the Big Ten offered him the opportunity, if they could afford it and they were willing to travel to all our campuses twice, they really could get a full schedule of 28 games in against Big Ten opponents. They jumped at it. I think, Rick, they only had 2 games on their schedule. They may have had to cancel their schedule had we not given them the opportunity. So they'll fall in touch with our testing protocol when the season starts, obviously. And so we'll feel good about, their participation.
Red, one of the other key factors of the announcement of the hockey release was the return to the quote-unquote old format for the Big Ten tournament, a 1-weekend single elimination in one venue event. How did that decision get made? How much was strictly related to the situation that we're living in right now with the coronavirus? And how do you eventually determine where that tournament will be played?
As you know, we had literally 3 weeks of competition, and we cut that down to save costs and travel, obviously, the risk of traveling in terms of the virus, and to make this tournament just a grand affair for 1 weekend. As far as the venue goes, the venue will be determined. We'll have 7 teams involved. First place team will get a bye, and then the other 6 will play. So there'll be 3 games on the first night, and then there'll be 2, and then there'll be a championship game.
Special advisor to the Big Ten commissioner in charge of hockey operations, Red Berenson, helping us hit the high notes of the Big Ten hockey schedule, the entire release coming in the next few days and weeks. Thanks, Red.